Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we're going to do a sympathy arrangement in all white flowers in this wooden container. So of course I told you that this is wooden. It does not actually hold water. So what we had to do was we lined the container with foil paper, and it's just a roll of paper that is made to line containers. In the floral business, you can actually buy it on Amazon or any kind of floral supply companies, but it's a green roll of paper, and I took a small piece, I put it in this container, and then I placed my fresh floral foam, and I have filled the reservoir with water. Now I taped my foam into place. Now it is so important that your mechanics are well put together because you don't want it to fall apart when it's being delivered. So we did tape our foam into place. Now when working with fresh floral foam, you want to make sure that you soak the foam first. Next, what we're going to do is add some Robellini foliage. So I'm going to strip off a few of the fronds. I'm going to take my floral knife, cut that stem at an angle, and I am just going to press that palm right down into that floral foam. And I'm just going to green it out all the way around. Now they asked us to design this in a basket, but I didn't realize I didn't have any baskets, any like wicker baskets on hand. So we're just using this really pretty wooden container. So I am taking and stripping those fronds off and just tucking that Robellini right down into that foam. Now when designing an arrangement in a container like this, you want to make sure that you green out the back side so that your foam is covered. Just about got it done. All right, so there is our greenery. Again, there's our little container down below. Next, we will come in with some spiral eucalyptus. So these are just stems of spiral eucalyptus. Most of the time I get spiral eucalyptus with the laterals, but this is just a single stem, which is actually kind of nice. It's so much easier. Now you don't get the extra pieces that usually come when you have the laterals on the stem, but it is pretty. All right, and then we're going to come in with a little bit of parvifolia eucalyptus to kind of give us a little bit of a drip. I took that and cut it in half. I'm just tucking that in. All right, so there's our greenery. Next, we're going to come in with some of our flowers. So we've got it all greened out. We're going to use white snapdragons as our line flower. We got in a large box of snapdragons this week, and it came with all the colors. It came with burgundies and yellows and pinks and whites. I'm going to take and strip off some of those leaves on that snap, take my stem, cut it at an angle. I'm going to start with my center bloom. And then I'm going to take my other blooms and just kind of fan those out. All right, there's our snapdragons tucked in. Next, we're going to come in with some white hydrangeas. I have 3 stems of white hydrangeas, so I'm going to take those. I'm going to remove the sleeves. They come wrapped with those sleeves, and so we usually leave those on just for safety in the cooler. Often these blooms are a little tender, and so our cooler is made out of metal. It has metal walls. And so if we will leave those sleeves on the blooms, it will keep them from getting too cold up against that wall. Because sometimes those buckets get moved up against the wall, and those hydrangeas will bump that cold wall and they'll blister a little bit. So these sleeves are just to help save those blooms a little bit. I'm taking that bloom and I'm fluffing it up. I'm cutting that stem at an angle, and I'm dipping it into Quick Dip. Now, Quick Dip is a hydrating solution that helps to keep your hydrangeas hydrated. All right, there's 2 stems. Here is our 3rd. Cut that stem, dip it. Okay, 3 stems of hydrangeas. Next, we're going to come in with a little Monte Cassino aster. So Monte Cassino is a form of aster. It comes in different colors. It comes in a purple, a white, a lavender. So it's just kind of a pretty filler flower. It reminds me a lot of a line flower. It's really straight up, right? But the small blooms on Monte Cassino look a lot like daisies. It's a really fun and different filler flower. We don't get it very often, but it really is pretty. Okay, there's our Monte Cassino. Next we have some I said hydrangeas, I've already used those, right? We've got some white roses. So these roses have lots of little tiny thorns. I'm just taking my floral knife, pulling those thorns off, I'm not using anything but my hands. I'm pulling off any of those petals that don't look pretty. I'm going to grab a few stems of wire, and we are going to wire these roses. They are going into fresh floral foam, and so sometimes they don't get they don't stay hydrated because they don't always get watered well. So I am wiring all these stems. I'm making sure I remove the thorns just strictly because they bite. Popping off any of the petals that don't look pretty. Grabbing a florist wire, pressing it right into the calyx up underneath that rose. The calyx is a little swollen part right up underneath the rose. And then I wrapped it around that stem. The one thing about white roses is they do get bumped and bruised. To me, more than any other color rose, the white really shows the bumps and bruises. So you have to pull those petals back. All right. I'm just going to stagger these roses into this design. Okay, here's those roses. Next, we're going to come in with a couple of focal flowers. We're going to use some gerbera daisies. I am going to wire these. I don't always wire gerberas, but I need to manipulate their heads just a little bit. So I'm taking that wire and I'm able to kind of manipulate that head just a smidge. Now you always want to be really careful when doing that because the stems on a gerbera are pretty crisp, so they pop pretty easily. So you need to be very careful with them. So my thoughts are to take this and kind of put it right there as a focal there in the center, and then the smaller bloom will be above it. There we go. And then our smaller bloom. Go. And then the last flowers we're going to put in is some lisianthus. We have some beautiful white lizzie. I'm going to turn my arrangement around really quickly. See where we're missing some flowers. So I tucked that first stem here. All right, and there is our white lisianthus. Now our finished arrangement includes, we've got some white snapdragons as our line flower, Monte Cassino as a filler, white hydrangea are our large mass flowers. We used white gerbera daisies, white lisianthus, and white roses. The greenery we chose includes robellini, which is the palm branches, and then 2 types of eucalyptus, the spiral, and then the parvifolia. Guys, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions about how we do things here at Flowers by the Bunch, you can always ask. We would love to answer your questions. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that thumbs up. Just a free and simple way to support our little flower shop is to hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, be sure to hit that button also. Guys, I hope you have a great evening and we will see you real soon. Thank you.